Me again. I had a couple more thoughts after I did my latest video to Beyond Life 7. He made a few comments that basically that I disagree with, that I wanted to make a couple more points about. According to him, sex is only to make babies. And the whole notion of sex for pleasure was invented by men. Interesting. My ex-husband, when we were still married, visited the San Diego Zoo. He told me a rather amusing story about his visit to the zoo while he was in San Diego on a business trip. He was rounding the corner to the walrus tank, and as he was, my glasses are foggy there. As he was rounding, I just took a shower. Yeah. While he was rounding the corner, a father was hurrying past him with his daughter, seemed very uncomfortable and wanted to get his child away from the walrus tank. When my husband at the time walked up to the walrus tank, he noticed that the walrus was engaged in rather odd behavior, floating on his back, having a rather massive size erection, because I guess walrus are well endowed, and stroking himself. Yes, the walrus was masturbating. Now, if Beyond Life 7 would read a little bit more about the animal kingdom, he would learn, he, she, whatever, I have no idea what this person's gender is, but she would know or learn or find out several different types or many different types of animals that masturbate. You know, interesting. Nobody told them that humans invented that. Apparently, they all do it. Animals masturbate. As well as homosexuality occurs very naturally in the animal kingdom. Thousands of species demonstrate homosexual behavior in the animal kingdom. The other thing he mentioned in his note to me was that children don't think about sex. Really? You know, even babies masturbate. Little kids masturbate. You know, under the covers they find something that feels good and they do it because it feels good. Little kids masturbate. Babies masturbate. So saying that children are not aware of sex is a bullshit. Something else. Transgenderism. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but if this person would read a little bit about transgender children, he would find out that lots of very young children decide at a very young age that they're not the gender they were born being. There are little boys running around in the bodies of little girls, and little girls running around in the bodies of little boys. And in every respect, they are, in their heads, the gender that isn't what their body is. And many of them end up getting surgery to correct this. I think I read somewhere that it happens when the gender changes late in the development of the fetus. But anyway, because we all start out, every fetus starts out as a female. And along the way, through the development of the fetus, the gender is decided. And I think I read that the theory is, or whatever, maybe it's just a hypothesis, that the gender on transgender children is determined late or happens later than normal during the child's development or something, so they're whatever. I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. But the point is, children are aware of their own gender early in their lives. Even so much as when their bodies are screaming at them that they're supposed to be a girl, but they aren't a girl. They're not interested. They just aren't a girl in their heads. You know, read about transgenderism or transgendered children or whatever. It's real. Or are you going to say that these little children just made a choice? They just decided to go against the ultimate law or universal law? And that's another thing, universal law. I'd like this person to explain this to me, because the only universal laws that I'm aware of really are survival of the fittest and Um, um, I'm trying to think. Kill or be killed. I guess that's more survival of the fittest, but yeah. So I don't know of any other universal laws. We all know what. I just got done watching a movie called. Trying to think what movie it was. K-PAX. You know, it's a funny little movie with Kevin Spacey, but it's one of my favorite movies. I don't know why, but I really like K-PAX. And in K-PAX it's about Prot, who is an alien. And at one point, Prot mentions that everybody knows right and wrong, knows the difference between right and wrong. That's like a universal thing. So maybe that's a universal law too. And I'm sorry, but what you do with your body and who you fall in love with and what you're born preferring isn't wrong. It isn't right. It's just a thing. It's part of who you are. You know, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, it's about the same thing. What gender you're attracted to, or what gender you feel in your, in your head that you are. So anyway, you're wrong on 2 counts there. Children do think about sex. They do masturbate. They do know, they are aware of sexual, the gender roles and where they fit in. And animals do have sex for pleasure, just like people who are also animals. Animals, people, same thing. And animals have sex for pleasure. Only religion came along and said that it's only for reproductive reasons. You know, that really is a horrible thing to say, because there's a lot of people who get married because they fall in love with somebody and they want to live for the rest of their lives with that one person, but they have zero desire to have children ever. Should they just not have children? Because sex is just to make babies, so should they just not have sex? Because they're not going to make any babies, so right? What's the point? Or what about old people like myself who, they're married to somebody, or maybe they're not married to somebody, they're just older, and they're not going to be making babies. They just shouldn't have sex, right? Because, I'm sorry, who comes up with these stupid little rules? Religion does. And whether or not this person who wrote me this is a Christian or Islam or whatever, your universal laws sound like religious laws to me, and I'm sorry, but they're man-made bullshit. And telling somebody, oh, you had a choice over something like who they fall in love with or who they feel attraction toward is absurd and stupid. And yes, I guess I was a little tough on Beyond Life 7 in my last video. I gave him the bird and I used the words profoundly stupid. I'm not saying this person's stupid. I'm saying his note was profoundly stupid. The way of thinking that, everything fits into this little box. And I'm sorry, but anything outside the little box is outside of the universal laws. There's no universal laws. Except, yeah, you shouldn't go kill somebody. You shouldn't rape somebody. You shouldn't steal from people. You shouldn't use people and manipulate people, or take somebody who trusts and believes in you and hurt them for trusting and believing in you. There's a lot of things that knowing right and wrong that most of us know without a little guidebook or Beyond Life 7 coming along and telling us our universal laws that you can't have sex unless it's to have a baby. And newsflash, 2 women can have a baby. It's called, there's sperm banks. Okay, they can do it that way, or they can adopt. Same with men. Men can adopt, and they can have children. There's lots of ways to have children. My parents didn't give birth to me. My parents adopted me. And, if it wasn't for the fact that my dad died when I was 6 and my mom had schizophrenia, I can't complain about my childhood. I had 2 parents who loved me. So it doesn't necessarily take a biological action. So sex is really not just for making babies. Sex is part of living your life and enjoying your life. It's part of your identity and who you are. The end. And nobody has the right to tell somebody else how they can express their love or who they can fall in love with. I'm sorry, and the word abomination should be stricken from the fucking dictionary because I don't believe there's such a thing in this world as an abomination. It's a horrible word and it's a horrible label to put on anybody. So anyway, this is my part 2 of the video that I just did earlier because I came up with a few more thoughts. So thanks for watching if you have. Again, bye.